Hey, Ari here, leader of the race mixing revolution. Thanks for joining me in this video. In this video, I wanted to talk about a little lady named Marilyn Monroe. You might not know, but I have an image of Marilyn Monroe right there as a kind of like a chola tattooed woman with the words Los Angeles at the top. She looks great in that picture. It's still her face, but just a different body. It says a lot about how beautiful a face Marilyn Monroe has, that she can look so beautiful even though it's not her body. It's it's okay to be tattooed and these kind of things, but anyways, it's the one piece of art I have hung up right now. I like to keep the walls clean, but that was kind of a random thing I've bought in the past, and it was interesting to see kind of the cultural mix of it. There was, the aspect of Marilyn Monroe as a very clean kind of figure, and then this very tattooed, body as a photoshopped version of her. So it's kind of representative of culture mixing and of having a balance, and to how your name has changed over time, and how the image of Marilyn Monroe can be used for anything. Marilyn Manson, this picture, many different things. But one thing I wanted to say about Marilyn Monroe in this video is that she is a leader of the race mixing revolution in her own way. And I'm going to tell you a story about her and Ella Fitzgerald. The story of Marilyn Monroe and Ella Fitzgerald. Who is Ella Fitzgerald? Everybody kind of knows who Marilyn Monroe is. She's an actress. Ella Fitzgerald was a singer. She was a black singer, and she was a very good jazz singer. She was called the Queen of Jazz and things like this. And Marilyn Monroe put her on. Marilyn Monroe recommended her, and Marilyn Monroe gave her an opportunity to sing at a popular jazz club, and she started her career. She kickstarted Ella Fitzgerald's career. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't even know who Ella Fitzgerald is, but she owed a lot to Marilyn Monroe, and they shared a special bond. They liked each other, and Marilyn Monroe was a person who had transcended a lot of the things that were going on in the world around her. She was a woman of Hollywood. Hollywood used her a lot and objectified her and made her into a product, commodified her in many ways, but she still understood people. That's a very hard balance to achieve as somebody who is in an industry that is, it's about people, but at the same time, it's really not. It's sometimes just about creating an image. It's about creating an ego. It's about creating some kind of surface level consumable thing that people can, readily latch onto. A lot of people don't have the convenience of investing themselves deeply into the life of somebody or studying something or something like that. Our lives are very complicated and dispersed and all over the place, so we try to meet in the middle with some things like Marilyn Monroe's movies in the time that she was alive and other things in our lives. But for Marilyn Monroe, I think she saw a lot of the dark things in Hollywood, so despite her ability to help people and the power that she had and the influence that she had and all these things, I'm sure that she saw the way that Ella Fitzgerald was being treated despite her efforts, and the fact that it took her giving her this opportunity to sing at a jazz club for her career to get kickstarted. I'm sure Marilyn Monroe asked herself, why did I have to do this for her? Why was it me? Why didn't anybody else step up? Is it some racist thing? Looking at Ella Fitzgerald, this black woman, is it a race thing? And I'm sure she saw this many, many times. Like, she saw how some people in the movie business were being mistreated because they were black, or this is an amazing person, a very talented person, very personally sound person, morally sound, and everything else is going right for this person, and they just don't have the opportunities and don't have the respect, the genuine respect that they deserve. And she's getting all this respect and all this attention, and she's thinking, well, you know what, a lot of these black people deserve just as much respect as I do. And in this moment, she transcended her own society in a lot of ways. I haven't heard this from her own words or biographies or these kind of things. Maybe it's a hard thing to talk about. Maybe it was controversial. She didn't want to expose herself or society in that way. But there's a part of me that really, really believes that this is something that Marilyn Monroe thought about, and this is something that she felt. And I think that this, in a way, it was one of the many contributing factors to her untimely death. She overdosed and she died, and it was a very sad thing to happen. She was a very young woman. I think she was 36, and she would have done a lot of great things in the rest of her life but she did some great things while she was alive, and she was a great person. She was a beautiful woman, a classic example of beauty, even though she was very white person. She saw the beauty in black people as well. She saw the beauty in many people, and I think that was a little bit pressure for her existentially to have this kind of awareness. Maybe it would have done her good to be less aware, less, transcendent, less good in her own ways, to fit in Hollywood better, because Hollywood is a strange place. Hollywood still is a very objectifying place, and it's a very strange industry that is based on something very fleeting, very up and down. And so we do what we can with it, and we try to do justice to the inherent philosophies of Hollywood, the belief that people deserve some kind of quality culture, quality art, quality media, and these kind of things, and that people are worth it. People are always worth it, regardless of their reactions and regardless of this and that. They deserve quality. They deserve something beautiful. They deserve some amazing lives to live, and we deserve to create history in such a way that is becoming of them, that is becoming of all people. That is really something that I'd like to understand. Even though I'm not in Hollywood, even though I don't live in America, even I live in Canada, in a town that doesn't have a very significant media philosophy, I think that is very important for anybody to understand that there's an impression to be made in all of this and everything that it goes on in the world. There's an impression to be made. And I wish Marilyn Monroe could have had an impression of the race mixing revolution. I wish I could have said some things to her. I'm not saying that I could have saved her or something like this from her untimely overdose or suicide. She took a lot of drugs to kind of attempt suicide, at least, and she succeeded. And I wish at some point I could have had a conversation with her. I wish that some conversation about racism, at least, could have alleviated this one factor that maybe it would have contributed to her suicide. Maybe she would have done it anyways, and there would have been other things that would have outweighed that. But I just think if we change this fundamental problem, this fundamental idea of racism in people's minds and hearts, I think there's going to be less paranoia, less distrust, less just this taste of disgust that people can actually be racist. Because when I see people being racist, it leaves me with a disgusted taste. And I think Marilyn Monroe saw that a little bit. And I think that a lot of people that have depression or anxiety or any kind of mental illness, mental problems in general, racism is a part of that. And so if you don't believe in race mixing, I don't know why. I do not understand why you wouldn't believe in something like this. Even if it has the slightest chance to help save a life like Marilyn Monroe's, or help so many people at large in such a huge scale by sending this message of transcendence and peace and a higher genuine quality of peace and social connectivity, I don't understand why this wouldn't be something that you would be a part of. And I'm sure Marilyn Monroe, if she was here today, in her own words, and she could hear me and we could sit down and have a conversation, I'm sure she would agree. I'm sure she would agree. And I know there's a lot of people that are still alive that are similar to Marilyn Monroe, and I hope to talk to them, and I hope that if you can watch this video, and I hope that you agree. I hope that you agree that this is something that needs to happen. That race mixing, it needs to happen. It's something that has to happen. It's not something that maybe could happen or could not happen. It's something that definitely will happen in the future. So thank you to Marilyn Monroe. Thank you to Ella Fitzgerald. Thank you to all the people like them. Thank you to the nameless, faceless people who aren't famous, who are constantly able to transcend their situations and their moral, whatever situation they might be in, their racism or otherwise, and be a higher quality person despite everything that, society and their life is kind of showing them. So thank you. Thank you to everybody watching. Thank you if you can take some of my words with you. I'd appreciate that. Please start a conversation about this. The story of Marilyn Monroe and Ella Fitzgerald, I believe, will be a part of race mixing, at least for me. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I got a lot more videos coming out in the future. Please share my video, copy the link, send it to some people, share it on social media. Please support me on Patreon. As little as $1 a month, you can help me in these very critical early phases of the revolution, help me build it from the ground up. Please remember my words and take them with you into the future. And thanks for watching again. I'll see you next time.